Good.
You were saying, Nancy.
Yes, I was saying a lot of these committees that we have now in the back where it's listed how often they meet. It's not a lot, so grouping them together,
Yeah,
I think does make sense, and you could even accomplish a couple goals at a meeting. Rather than have all these separate meetings, so.
Because I think when I'm thinking about like the planning committee, I feel like there's a lot of times in strategic planning committee meetings that we're like, oh, does this belong in institutional long range planning? Well, we'll have to check in with Penny and they'll have to deal with that in a different meeting. And instead it can be like, oh, hey, we're all that committee too. And we can like do that now in the 5 minutes while we're already convened.
Right, less doodle polls too.
Yeah, just from a scheduling point of view, I think. A scheduling and like just the logistics of what is expected of us, for reporting and minutes.
I'm definitely in favor of option 2 with Mike's added planning committee. I'm just curious if finance and personnel could be combined.
Oh,
And then governance is policy, bylaws, town, library relationship, and fair compensation.
that makes a
Most
lot of.
feel like finance and personnel is a better fit together than
I like that.
in governance. An idea?
I'm
Personnel.
not sure. I'm not sure they fit together. Finance is about budget and and where we stand and what we should be doing in terms of financial planning. And personnel is nitty gritty.
Right, no, I know, I don't think they have to like be the same thing, I just mean like in terms of the people who are on that, right? Cause I feel like, does it say on the back, I mean, how often does finance meet?
Depends on time of year, so to fill Mike in, and I'm sure other people have this question too, finance is going to convene with Karen Astley after the close of the fiscal year. To make the transfers for commitments that the board has made to the operating budget. We'll probably have some emails back and forth about that. Obviously, we have the special case that we're discussing tonight about the $32,000. And then besides that, the finance committee views a draft of the budget and gives it the thumbs up before we bring it to the bigger group. And if there's nothing else, there's nothing else. Those are kind of the couple of big things that come up.
so I think I understand the desire to move things around. I think the very granular or practical thing that comes to mind is that like if the biggest responsibility of the personnel committee is writing the director's annual review, it seems like the team that did that this year, if they can do it next year, preserving that is worthwhile. Like it seemed like that's a process that went well and that felt new.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would just interject before we go much further down this road. Like the only known factor right now is that you're on the finance committee. Like the hope is that everyone is signing
It's
up
moving around
for these new committees tonight. And like maybe it's like, I don't actually want to be on finance anymore. Like I'm gonna put myself under governance or whatever.
Okay.
Like you have to sit on the finance committee as the treasurer, but I think unless I'm mistaken, that's the only.
I think you're right.
The board chair does not sit on personnel. That would seem like the only other one.
Traditionally, yes. I don't know if it's in your bylaws.
I mean, we certainly can stick with what we know and what we've been doing.
Awesome binder. That did not receive adequate recognition. The binder.
Nope. Didn't we do an orientation? Nope. Because
Doing very well.
we're so skilled.
Because I left for England.
Aha. I'll make you a binder, Susan.
Oh, I don't need a binder.
You don't need a bylaws.
Yeah, I probably have the bylaws, but a binder is a good thing to have.
Is it, some of them specify like it has to have a certain number of trustees on it.
Standing committee, personnel committee shall consist of at least 2 board members. Nothing else. Whereas finance committee, it's needs to be treasurer, library director, and one other trustee.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's it.
It's good to know.
And do we have to change the bylaws to change, once if we change the makeup of the committees?
That was fuzzy, like we erred conservatively with like discussing this at 2 meetings in a row before we voted on changing it, even though it didn't really seem clear in our current policy and bylaws. That this was an instance of,
A bylaw change?
yeah.
But aren't you've just read from the bylaws about like what the different committees are, right?
But even the bylaws we have right now, it still has
Yeah.
like, there are committees listed that like don't
Don't
and
exist.
haven't existed in at least the past
Oh,
6
then,
years, like.
so if that's the case, we probably do wanna change
Like,
the bylaw.
like an official.
You know, and make it a little bit broader, that you don't always have to, it's like, don't list every committee,
Mhm,
or unless this is it.
yeah,
So yeah, if it has program committee and that committee and that committee, we need to take it out.
mhm,
I think I just also want to remind people that whatever decision we make tonight, we can change. So we can try something for a year, figure out how it's doing, check in again next year and say, oh, it was really a problem to have this committee folded into all those others.
mhm.
And we'll know it by then. And it won't be theoretical, it'll be something that we're aware of.
Mhm.
So we shouldn't change it till, give it a year.
No, what I'm saying is, let's change it. Let's try something.
If it's on fire.
And then a year from now, if it didn't work, we know that, oh, that problem didn't exist back when.
No, I mean the actual, in the bylaws. There's.
Oh, no, I think, well, because the bylaws are the same thing. Like we wrote, well, not we, but a previous incarnation of this board
Right.
wrote those bylaws, voted on them. Like it's not hard to change the bylaws as long as we all raise our hands when
Right.
we make a motion.
To kind of get to the end of this, can we look at item 2 and look at the previous committees list? And go down previous committees list and say, okay, well, that one's now gonna be governance, this one's now gonna be a new planning one, and then make sure we tick them all off, and then we're done, right?
I think that's what option one had done, had
Yeah.
looked at all those previous committees. Right?
Yeah, but it sounds like
We-
option 2 is.
No, but my point is that, okay, whatever, let's just make sure. We got rid of.
I think, yeah, there is an extra paragraph here in the write-up that Emily handed out. So under option 2, it looks at what gets folded into what.
Oh, I see, yeah, eliminates.
And all of the
Oh, I
current
see.
committees are now folded into one of those three.
With the exception of the garden committee, which we chose to de-officiate, which doesn't mean that like they're not still doing work, but they're not.
I'm sorry.
Oh, and buildings and grounds
So that paragraph covers
and
what I just.
nominating.
Yeah.
and special
Yeah.
events.
Yes, I think so.
So nominating,
Nominating committee, buildings and grounds, garden and special events were all axed,
yeah.
in both of these proposals.
Nominating usually is under governance.
Well, we determined that the nominate, like, it never was a committee meeting to talk about like who to nominate. It was us talking as a full
Right, right,
board
right,
about
right.
who
Right.
good candidates would be.
Yeah.
So it didn't necessarily need a committee designation.
So institutional long-range planning is not, or in strategic planning, the paragraph isn't right in that it doesn't assume the addition of a planning committee.
Correct,
that's what
right, so
that's-
that's,
Yes,
Suggested
that is a
Other
option
than,
3.
that's option
is,
3, that was
I
just,
just want to be sure everything gets covered.
No,
It sounds like it doesn't, right?
That originally was folded into governance, and then Mike pulled it out and said, why
Right.
don't we make a fourth under option 2?
And I think that's a good idea.
Right, I do too.
So ILRP and strategic planning are obviously part of the planning, the new planning committee.
Right.
So if we wanted to put forward that idea, like, should I make a motion now, or are we still in discussion? But if I wanted to suggest Mike's further division into 4 committees. Is that what I would do? And propose
King for a
that it would go that way?
I think we can put a motion on the table to consolidate the committees as follows and list out the 4 and then vote on that.
Okay,
Does that make sense?
are we ready for that?
I think we take a give Trish the time.
Before we do that, I would really like to see like what this looks like in terms of like people being on these 4 committees,
Mhm.
right? Because there's 9 of us.
I can pass this around right now.
I don't know if it's like actually signing up, but just
Yeah.
like, what does this look like, right?
Mhm.
So like Amber and Mike have to be on the finance, right, with one other person, so that's 3 people.
Why do I have to be
No,
on
Amber
fire?
does not have to be on
Library
Oh,
director,
all right, so.
but Ben does. And even if
This
he's
is
not
why we
really.
have so many committees.
For those that don't know, he showed up at a finance
Like,
committee.
if there's 4 committees, right, and how much overlap there would
Should we
be?
raise
Or would we
hands?
be able to like each be on one of the 4?
Mhm.
Or if that's not,
We're gonna do
I-
trial signups, and if there's
Possible.
not enough people in the committees, we're gonna punish you by making only one committee. Be on it, and it's this.
In my head, what my proposal was gonna be was that everyone signs up for a minimum of 1 committee. It doesn't mean you can only, like, I would probably still be on fundraising and planning committee. Cause those encompass where I feel like most of my energy ends up going, right?
I mean, is there a way we can use this to,
To make
List them.
up, yes, I can do it.
I mean, I will be on finance committee, and then I'm interested in serving on a second committee, but honestly, all 3 of the others sound appealing.
Mhm,
So I would prefer to just wait and see where there's need
mhm.
rather than.
To the Word doc.
And to complicate things further, the hope is also that within each of these committees, someone feels called to be the chair of that committee, which entails warning any meetings, making sure somebody takes notes, making sure those minutes get sent to town hall in the end. It's not a huge lift unless you're doing that for multiple committees.
I just wanna make sure it looks roughly the same.
I mean, we also don't want, like, if we don't want too many people on a given committee. Like,
Mhm.
that makes it unwieldy. Like, it's nice to have 4. Like, that's a good size for, I mean, well, and really, the personnel work, having just 2 people is fine.
Mhm.
That's what you're doing.
But like on the strategic planning committee, what, are there 4 or 5 of us? I forget.
2, 3, 4.
There's 4 of us.
4 of us, and like, I mean, that hums along pretty smoothly, I think.
Mhm.
Is this what you guys wanted?
well,
Yeah.
what I was thinking was that we should put under each of these, not just who, but what, the final list of what goes
What's
where,
in where?
just so we can see
Oh,
that.
that's helpful.
Yeah.
So,
Finance is just finance.
Just finance.
just,
Oh, I see.
Governance is
Personnel, nope, yeah.
policy and bylaws.
bylaw. What?
I can't spell that word either.
Me neither, but apparently it,
Ends in an L.
2 N's and 1 L. What's weird is that it auto corrected to the bad spelling. All right,
And town library really.
town library and
Policy bylaws.
thank you.
And
And
fair
fair.
compensation.
Oh, right, I forgot about that.
right,
Sorry, I just typed all this, but my computer's not attached.
Fundraising is just fundraising.
All right, is institutional long-range planning and strat plan.
Mhm. Perfect.
yeah, I mean.
Yeah.
Fundraising would be special events too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's
Finance
Mhm.
committee is merely.
present.
Yeah. I agree with that, Jim. Mhm.
So that's everything, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, are we looking to like
Are we gonna?
volunteer? Cause I know that I would be on both the governance committee and the planning committee. Sorry, Susan.
What?
I'm not on the fundraising committee.
I go on the governance committee.
A finance committee.
You are, all right, and Jim is on governance, okay.
Be
others.
on fundraising.
Nancy's on fundraising.
I'd like to be on governance.
All. Oh, no.
I'm on planning.
Right. Okay.
And I wanted to be on planning, but there might be too many people on planning.
Why don't we put you?
Takes a while, it's a lot of work.
It's on the planning.
That used to be my career. And if I'm needed on finance, I can stay on finance too.
Right now it's just Mike.
And Emily, you, right?
Yeah, but I don't really
Oh, you
count.
don't count. Oh.
I mean, I'm not a
Yeah.
member. It's,
Okay.
that's not what I meant. It's not.
You're extra.
I mean, right now I'm on all of these except finance and I would love to let go of one. So maybe that's governance. Maybe I'm
People do
sticking
like
with.
me, right?
Yes, yeah, oh, that your thing.
Amber is joining you. And you want to be on planning as well?
Yeah.
Okay, fundraising and planning. How are we looking?
Well, I've been on. I've been on strategic planning, but I don't think that's really needed now.
Fundraising?
Also can move to the fundraising.
How are you?
Yeah, you're already on
Oh,
fundraising.
I mean, like,
Well,
in
now,
practice, but now you're you're committing to it under the new, structure.
Is that?
Mhm.
Committees for all. That's pretty good.
Is it too much to ask if anybody who has signed up for committees feels called to like designate themselves as the chair of that committee?
But I assume I'm the chair of finance.
You are-
Probably.
yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like both of those answers. A certain humility and another decisiveness.
Yes, that's right.
Oh.
I could chair the fundraising with a little help from my friends.
Absolutely.
That's the spirit.
We're just going with whoever's first in the list, so Ben, you're the chair.
Can I be chair of just one of those? Can I be the planning chair?
Yes.
and Not the governance chair?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so governance needs a chair.
Rock, paper, scissors.
I can do it.
Thanks, Jan.
I'll need to learn how though.
It's relatively chill.
I'm happy to help along the process. It is pretty chill.
This is a super crazy
No,
list of activity that just got done there.
I know.
It's fun done.
What else are we gonna get done?
So
tonight?
wait, so just want to make sure that with Penny and I joining planning, that the people that were doing strategic planning don't feel like they're
Ben and Amber were on
And
strategic planning.
Penny was too, right?
Yeah,
Well,
Penny.
I joined it, but
switched,
also
yeah.
I was on,
Okay.
professional long range plan.
Well, then I hope I don't scare away others. from strategic. But that's really my calling, is that stuff, planning stuff.
Mhm. Awesome. That was so easy, guys.
So now we have to go.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Sorry, because I stopped the
Oh,
voting before.
I see.
I move that we do this.
Yeah. Makes sense.
second.
We're voting on this, that we like this.
The-
Yes, do we like,
Or
do we like
committee.
this?
Let me put
The
this in.
four options.
Screen
Yeah, the
share.
four.
Then option two.
Yeah,
that's
we're
fine.
referring to this without
Right.
accounting for it in the recording.
Yeah.
I mean, do we have to be more specific? Because we could just say,
Okay.
we move to consolidate our previous committees down to 4. There being governance committee, a planning committee, a finance committee, and a fundraising committee with chairs and membership. See the attachment. That
Can
one.
you open up the move with I move to, or just?
Yeah,
That's
that was an I move in case we haven't.
Yes, I think that's what you said.
Are we all in favor?
Wait, do we have a
Wait,
second?
second.
I think that
I
Jim did.
Oh, sorry.
Jim did.
Yeah.
The long table.
Guys,
So done.
That was a hard
I
thing
think
to
we're done
do.
now because those were all.
Yeah, can we go home?
Eat more
So Emily and Julia are brainstorming some potential people to
Yeah.
tap for testimonials. We have
We have
one
some.
idea.
Is Nate Snell still live in town?
Oh, she did kind
I
of,
don't
but
think he does.
Yeah.
yeah, that's true. She's 20. I didn't think about her.
Another possibility we talked about is a newer resident or
Mhm.
family. So I think we're kind of exploring a few different options.
Yeah, we had talked about trying to straddle two goals. One of them being kind of welcoming all the new residents we have coming into town over the summer. I feel like we shifted away from that a little bit because we made the decision not to do a full zip code mailing this year. Emily ran the numbers and we felt like it really made sense to wait at least one more year before we spend the extra money to do that full zip code mailing, and that we'll do different outreach to the new residents down by the co-op to welcome them and make sure they know about all the library services and feel, welcome here.
Do we have a sense of how many new residents? Are we talking about the new?
We're talking about
Oh,
the new housing, yeah.
No, actually, I don't have that number, though. I'm in touch with Lisa Kuhneman about that, and Julia and I are kind of working on a pamphlet for like we're your library, sign
Yeah.
up for the newsletter, we have
Yeah.
events, these kinds of events. So we're working on that part, but initially when we started the fundraising committee meeting, we were kind of talking about like, are we doing a full zip code mailing? What's the intent of the
Yeah.
appeal?
Yeah.
But I think we're breaking away from that because we just did a full zip code mailing
3 years.
3 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we decided we would let Chrissy know that we wanted to work with her again, that we were desiring, a little bit of new illustration work. We're gonna hit the pumpkin angle hard, so let's
pray
all
that it
put some
survives.
good
Yeah.
energy into that pumpkin growing out there. And yeah, just really, I think probably Emily and I will craft the letter again this year, and we're just gonna sort of work that. We need to pay for some stuff because we are 20 years old, and with aging and growth comes, like we want to remain like welcoming.
I keep on thinking about a 20-year-old in carpet.
Yeah.
Chrissy is really excited to work with us again. If
Great.
we are all open to that, she and I met on Friday and we talked through all these ideas. She feels like the outer edge of what we would spend on her would be $1,000, which is what we have approved in previous years. She typically comes in under that, but because all of this work happens over the summer when we're not meeting, it would be great to get that money approved at this meeting so that she can work through it and we have something to bring back to the board in September to approve, to get off to the printers and get back in time to be mailing out in the fall. Does anybody have any questions about that process or the path that we chose to take, or
Sounds well.
Chrissy's work, or?
Sounds well thought out, and
On the agenda, it says to approve the money for the appeal expenditure. How much is it that we would be asked to approve?
So today we would be approving up to $1,000 for Chrissy to do design work on the appeal letter. And actually, I forgot that we decided to include a bookmark in this year's letter,
Oh, that's lovely.
which would include the hours and a QR code that went to our Give
Oh, yeah.
page, and pumpkins.
Because that's what we thought about
Yeah.
that last year around this time, and we were like, let's try it again next year, and you magically remembered. I would never do that.
We decided not to do anything new with last year we had her do a rack card for us too, so we had something visible at the circulation desk, since a letter doesn't lend itself to
Yeah.
like a display.
We have plenty of those.
And we
records,
decided
they're
we
not
have-
they're not like gonna
Oh.
expire.
that's
Yeah.
a great idea.
And the
to just-
bookmark too.
Yeah,
Put out maybe.
yeah.
In addition to that, because of the new way that we're going to be doing money spent on fundraising things, I'd also like all of you to approve the money for the postage so that I can buy it before the postage increases, like in July.
Oh, I didn't
Mhm.
realize it was going on.
Yes,
It is?
I just saw the flyer at the
Yeah.
post office, and if I do it now, it's like 5 cents cheap. I think it's going up 5 cents, so I think
Oh, yeah.
that's substantial.
Yeah.
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 We should go buy.
Mhm.
So do we want to add the cost of that postage to the money that we would approve tonight?
Yes.
Yes, and what?
And you
have
know
that
what
number?
I have the upper number because I multiplied it by how much it's going to be, which is 82 cents for a first class stamp.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
I sound so crotchety and.
I wish I had bought forever stamps like 10 years ago. Kept them in my.
Anyway, if you
Yeah.
guys approve $270, it would more than cover it, and I would buy a bunch of the postage for the thank you notes.
For future.
Yeah.
Awesome. So we would be approving up to $1,270 for appeal expenses over the summer.
Mhm.
Can I make a motion to approve up to $1,270 to spend on appeal expenditures?
Second.
Are there any questions? All in favor? Sweet. Ben, you had asked to keep this on the agenda, this month to check in about the retreat work.
Yeah, the only news I have to report is that I'm delinquent in thinking about what I was going to bring for this. So, but I do think that Emily has some
the
new
tidbit,
information about the closet space.
Right,
Did you see the thing I sent you?
yes, this is not that. I had Anthony Gerard come and look at a potential pod, which we'd all talked about, like a phone booth, that would be right here. And what was possible for that, and we also looked at the back closet and what's possible for that. And when we thought through and kind of used the measuring tape and played forward the idea of the pod right here, it was both obstructive, but also impractical. It would only be for one person. It wouldn't be wheelchair accessible, and it would really stick out into the space a lot. So we put more focus on the closet, and he ran numbers, and basically it's gonna be to develop the back half of the closet. So we still have some storage space in the front half or the right-hand space. The Zoom looks ridiculous because I'm like pointing for you guys. But he and GPI did make a number of the meeting rooms at Brooks Memorial Library and build offices into bigger spaces. So they have some experience doing that, which is great. And he proposed it was really important that we could see into it, that it had a window and that the door was a window. And this design has a pocket door that has a window and a window. It's 7 feet long, and I can't remember how deep. It encompasses, there's 3 windows in that closet.
Inside
Into the outdoors.
Oh,
And it keeps 2 of the windows and has an angled ceiling, so the windows are still into the space. And it's $17,000.
Whoa.
I know, I was also, it's a lot.
it's the same depth, this direction as it is now.
Yes,
Okay.
that's right.
Yeah, that must be at least 6 feet.
I think you're right. I can't remember.
Now, when you say windows, do you mean a window from this space into that space?
Yes.
Through where there's a bunch of shelving now?
Presently, there is shelving. The shelving would no longer be there. It's not like a
That's
secret
what-
door where you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you preferred ideas.
Revolving.
So it would mean shifting collections, but that's something Julie and I have talked about practically and is possible. But yeah, there would be no shelving. I think we'd lose 2 bays, 2 full shelving bays there for this
What would you
design.
say with this way? You
This way
Yeah.
is 7 feet.
7. So it'd be
but-
basically a square room.
I can't exactly remember the depth of it.
But it could sit 2
It
people.
could sit 2 people, and this is with the, electricity rewired. I think we need to like redo one of the moisture traps for the air handlers. And I can't remember all of the other tidbits of it. I just got this today. So, but $17,000 is kind of a ballpark number that we can use to think about this.
Then
And
we
then
have to furnish it.
the furnishing would probably be pretty simple. It would probably be a table and some chairs. we probably already are going, we might just use folding chairs we already have.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. Obviously, we're not taking any action on this tonight. I didn't even have this number when we came up with the agenda, but I have started looking at grants already, and I'm thinking about contacting some of the area grantors to see what's possible. I'm just putting this out there as just a tidbit of information for us to think about. And I'm aware when I tell you all this, that we're also coming into a year where we really want to do the carpet and the painting. And all of those three, the little room, the carpet and the painting, I believe are all things that would fall into the trustee's responsibility to cover using fundraised money under the MOU about the building. Which makes it even more of a good idea for me to find a grant for the small meeting room. So that's something I can work on through the summer. I'm also just mentioning the painting and the carpet because I don't think that no grants are coming for that. It's just not gonna happen. Nothing that I know of is gonna take on that. We do have a grant application still undetermined to take care of the drainage out back and to replace the heat recovery units, which like the rest of the building are 21 years old. There's a more budget conscious option if we don't get that grant to just replace the failing controllers on them and keep repairing the heat recovery units as they need it. But the controls for them have gone. One, we've already replaced one, and that's great because we can continue to use it. Those became really important during COVID when all of a sudden we became really conscious of air exchange with the outdoors. For those, I don't know if I've defined these for you guys before, but the heat recovery units take outdoor air in and they use outgoing warm air to warm the incoming cool air. That's why they're
personnel.
Yeah, I don't know that it would take that form. She seems to talk, and maybe she's talking to you differently about this, to me about the MOU being, that's the building thing, and then we need to figure out the personnel policy thing. I don't think it matters what we call it, we need to figure those two things out.
I'm sorry, just to be clear, the group of people that will meet in July
Yeah.
will be meeting about personnel policies.
No, both,
Personnel and
right,
a new look at the current MOU
Correct.
about the building.
correct.
Oh.
Ah.
I've always thought of it just conceptually as like an expansion of the building MOU, which has been really useful for outlining what's what. But it sounds like, is there something about the building MOU that needs modification? Is that an impression you got?
That's the impression I get from her,
Oh, okay.
but it's never been. Whenever we kind of get any further than saying the MOU is out there, we never really kind of said, well, you know, it was, and we kind of moved off and. So I don't know the answer to that.
Okay.
Um,
My question is, when we're saying 3 members from the library, is it me, you, and Janice, or is it
yes,
2 additional board members?
No.
besides you? Okay, it's me, you, and Janice.
excuse me. 3 people, yes, me, you, and Jen.
Okay.
So then if that's, if the people are decided, then there's no formal motion necessary from the board to move this work forward. Is that correct?
That's what I think. I mean, I think that we're accepting Jim's offer to volunteer as one of these appointees, and also that Janice is a great person and Emily's a given. And then I think the voting is gonna happen in September when we have actual
Right.
Right.
policy
Proposal.
that people have worked on
Just-
over the summer.
And to go back to what you were saying before, this, the MOU, which is the existing document, maybe it needs to be clarified, or I don't think we're looking at huge changes. And then we just need to deal with the issue, in my mind, what we need to deal with in the personnel policy, if we really need to deal with anything at all, frankly, is those very few places where there may be conflict between the personnel policy of the town, which, by the way, is finally in its final completion stage, and our policy. I don't think there needs to be an MOU that somehow reconciles these, or I'm not sure we need another document.
And my understanding after the work that we did in strategic plan last year was that we determined that by state law and upheld by Supreme Court decisions, which you brought to us, Jim, is that in Vermont, library boards have sole authority over personnel matters in the libraries, that they're not subject to the municipality.
Right, and that's why I don't think we need an MOU. I think we need our policy, we need their policy, and we need to try, and I said this to Karen, and I talked with her, we want to have them be as consistent and complementary as they can be to reduce feelings of unfairness or whatever, within the context of us needing to be able to do what we need to do, and they need to do what they, be able to do what they need to do. And this has been my theme all along. It actually is the theme of the court in that decision. It's sort of like the court is saying, please, can't you just all get along? And that's kind of how I'm approaching it.
Okay.
Okay. What's the next step?
Schedule that meeting.
I'll reach out to Janice and CC both of you. So she knows that she's on the committee. Has been appointed.
Emphasize too, and Karen really.
Yes.
I didn't say, how about Janice? She said, how about Janice?
Yeah, I know they made a lot of progress together.
They did.
Maybe Janice is watching.
I know.
Yeah.
She's not. She's not, it's just us.
That'd be great to say, and by the way.
Yeah.
Thank you for all of that, Jim, for reaching out to Karen. And does anyone have any other questions about that? All right, well, we'll go down to old unfinished business. We need to, so we heard about the 32,000 issue last month.
Mhm.
And now we need to vote to let Mike move that money out of our endowment into our checking account so that we can pay the town the money that we assumed was being paid to the town.
There's a more exact amount
Okay,
that I'm, should have,
Oh, who's in his memo? Right?
I don't know that it was. Mike, was the exact amount in the memo? Yes, here it is. 32,724.64.
okay.
I have something I wanna talk about while we're in this like idea, but it's not directly related to the vote.
Okay.
I'm not sure when is the right time. to talk about it.
Well, I mean, we haven't put a motion on the table to vote, so I think this is as good time as any.
So as I was typing up the minute that last month and around this idea, I sort of thought to myself, we as the board, other than me typing in, like we've approved 1,000, we've approved 500, as a board, as far as I'm aware, we don't keep track of those expenses throughout the year. So, yeah,
I do,
you do.
yeah.
Okay, but I'm just wondering if like I don't wanna put this on you, maybe you already have it in a sheet, but like part of me is like, if when I type this into the minutes, I put it into a sheet and we at least see
Mhm.
throughout the year that like, oh, hey, like we've approved like, $30,000 and we're halfway through the year, or we've approved $4,000. I don't know, I don't ever see a running list of the money that's been approved throughout the year. And I just thought, like, if you already have it in a sheet.
I don't keep a sheet, because oftentimes it's like, we're approving up to $1,270 for the appeal, and then it turns out that we only spent $750 on Chrissy, and then stamps were only 200. So like, it's sort of, I know where I code it, and then we square up on it when we make the transfers with Karen, but you're right, if
I
we
don't know, I just think like as a board, right, we're approving all this money, right, and
Yeah.
like.
That's
That's a good point.
It's just and I'm not tied to the idea. I was just, as I was typing up the minutes last week, I was like, oh, that's kind of funny that this is all the money that we're fundraising for and we're approving, and yet we don't keep track of
Yeah,
like.
yeah,
like- and maybe that's okay. I don't know. I just wanted to like
That's a good point.
just bring it up, and
I
if
wonder
there's a
I wonder if
way.
there's a way to keep a spreadsheet, like what was approved, what was spent.
I really don't
Yeah.
wanna,
I don't want-
really don't want this to be Emily's job, and I was just, I guess the money we approve is not the money we spend. I was just thinking, like, I already typed this in, right, but it's just like, in these minutes that I'm sorry, never look back on, like, who's looking back? But it's not, and it's not the money we end up spending, so it's not like an exact amount, but like. Maybe it's okay even just to have the amount of money we approve,
Yeah.
just so we have like a ballpark
It's not
figure.
reflected in our financial sheets.
But it's
Not
not
there.
line items, like
It's
this is
not,
like,
it's not there.
we had no idea what those line items were.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and remembering, like, when we were doing the garden stuff, like, that was a lot of money, and it was just like. I don't know, I know we have it and that's fine, but I don't know, it was just an idea I had, and if we don't wanna do it, I mean, I'm not tied to it, I just felt like. Oh, that's funny that we like approve all this money, but we don't keep track during the fiscal year of the amount of money that we approve just on a running list.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that earlier today when we approved money for the appeal expenditures. And I raised my hand, and then I had the thought, I actually don't know where the money is coming from, like which account, and what the balance in that account is. And so I also feel like there's a need for that knowledge.
But, I mean, these all sound like things a treasurer should be keeping track on and reporting. Like, not, and I don't think that's like a burdensome ask. I mean, I'm thinking about that. Right, they always like, well, what happens if Emily gets hit by a bus? Right?
Not that you're planning anything.
That,
The mover
But-
steps over
Yeah, I
there.
know.
There's just there's like a level of financial control that the board and the treasurer should be exerting just for transparency. And so it seems, just like I do with the investment reports, it could be an easy thing. I do think that you and I could work on this and it wouldn't be
Yeah.
that hard, just to kind of track this and then, and it's just a thing that's like, here's the record, and like, even just like to know that the record is there and it being
Yeah.
kept.
Right.
I can tell you, Ben, that like the reason we're approving this amount or hoping to approve this amount is because we try to keep, there is a single checking account that is held at the town. I'm gonna, again, look to you to correct me if I'm wrong here. We try to keep about $25,000 in it, and that is used to transfer money from that to cover things that the town has fronted us.
Right.
So that's the account, right? That's where the postage will get paid
Yes.
for the appeal. And we try to keep 25K in there as a buffer if there's like something big that comes up. So right now to settle up at the town would put us either just slightly in the red or very low, I think, in that checking account. And so that's to make sure we're going to keep that buffer. So is that answering the question of just like where, like there is a checking
Yeah,
account?
for this specifically, I think that what you were saying before also answers the question about what do we do next meeting when there's a whole bunch of new expenditures for approval. And it sounds like you're saying that we could make a system that would make that more transparent to us,
Yeah.
which would be
Yeah.
really helpful. So thank you for taking leadership on that. And it's also, I think, good practice because if it's transparent to us, then it's also more transparent to anyone who lives in the town of Putney and any taxpayer here who wants to know.
Yeah. I just think that there's like one level of granularity that's just not fruitful. Like I
Yeah.
don't think you need to know, like we have this endowment, we refer to the endowment as a single thing, but we actually have two
Yeah.
endowment accounts. Which mathematically like doesn't make sense to me. Like
Right.
we could just proportionally make it all one thing. But similarly, like knowing, okay, this is what the balance is on a given month, great, we could do that for the checking account. You don't need to know for the endowment, what did each of the constituent funds do? Like that's a level of granularity we don't need, but just about like the balance and the change from month to month.
Yeah.
And
seems
checking
straightforward.
account balance, which I don't think that's not in the email that you sent
No.
out, but it could be, and it could
Yeah.
say like, the checking
Right.
account balance is down because we paid for the stone seating area
Yeah.
or whatever, and that is a statement I'm getting monthly and have been forwarding to you, and it could just be part of that report.
Yeah.
But everybody wouldn't get it and everybody wouldn't see money coming out of it or necessarily remember what it was for. So I'm not sure how to address that part of things.
I think we can try and start and then come back in 3 months and say, or come back in November and say, is there additional information you'd want to see?
Yeah. And frankly, I think that's more fruitful than the endowment reports because we very seldom move money from the endowment.
Right.
All we do is like, we're basically just watching the stock market happen to them.
Yeah.
And so that's like interesting, but not
Right.
particularly germane to most of the decisions we make in these meetings.
Right.
And this is all the money that we fundraise, right?
Yeah, so like the book sale money just goes directly into the checking
Into the
account,
checking
correct?
account, yeah. And all of the appeal
Money
donations
and all,
go
right,
in there too.
right.
I know we talked about how we got into the situation where we owe the town $32,000 for money that was supposed to come out of the fundraising account, but part of the new structure to make sure that money is moved when we approve it or very soon afterwards is that I need to create a document called a warrant that submits a copy of the minutes with an invoice that is coded to, coming out of fundraising, and that's just a new paper trail. And then I don't know if you guys need to sign the warrant. I'm not sure because we haven't done one yet, but we'll get to because we're gonna be paying for the appeal and for the postage. So we're kind of doing, we're gonna do the first ones of those in the coming month or so. But that would be a paper trail. I don't know. I don't think you guys want to receive every warrant in your email, in your meeting packet, but it would be
yeah.
a document that would have that money.
Yeah, I know,
I almost see it as a spreadsheet that you're keeping.
yeah, for me, it was just like, I'm not trying to make more work for
No.
people, but Mike, I appreciate
Yeah.
you, like, potentially taking something like this on. I guess for me, it was like, oh, look, like every month I'm writing in, like we've approved 1,000,
Right.
we've approved
Right.
1,500, just like as simple as a spreadsheet of like
Yeah.
how much money we've approved, because it's like, makes a big difference at like the end of a fiscal year, just out of sheer curiosity, like, have we approved to spend $50,000 or
Right, well, it
or
also-
5? Like,
yeah.
where are we at, you know?
I mean, it would be helpful to tell the fundraising committee, this is
Mhm.
what came in, this is what
Right.
went out. but
Right? I
this is
just
what
feel like
came
it's
out.
interesting to know.
I think, I think we
it's
should,
actually
in the
the
interest of time,
practice.
like, we can take this as an action item to talk about a system and.
And would it be via, from like the beginning of a fiscal year to the end of the fiscal
Yeah,
year?
I think that's what makes sense. And there's also things that we already do that could just be enriched a little bit with information for context and then shared. Like when we make the transfers, it's not just like one big amount of money. It's like, okay, you guys did $2,000 for books. And you did, the special projects line included this, this, and this. Here are the other things you approved. So it could be this thing. I know that this isn't a running tally, but at the end of the fiscal year, you see all of the different things that you approved. And when we do the transfers, like when we prepare that document.
But I think it would be good to see it as it's
As it's
going
going
on,
on.
because maybe we would say, maybe not this fiscal year.
Mhm.
Let's come back in the beginning of the next fiscal year. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure the best way to do that in terms of what we already do, but I am open to suggestions.
We're
So-
almost there, guys.
Would like to move that the board approve a transfer in the specific dollar amount that Emily just read off moments ago, interest duly recorded, thank you. To cover these expenses and just, I have a few comments to make during a discussion phase, just that are just FYIs, so you guys know.
Second.
So just so you know, the Emily described a process that I then wrote down to make sure I understood it. I shared it with Susan. Jim, I don't know if you had a chance to see it or not. It's there for you. Describing how do we know this won't happen again? And it's this two-step process that she's describing with the warrant. She submits the warrant, she keeps the warrant. When the check statement comes, she says, aha, this warrant is fulfilled. So it makes sense. I do think as we consider